Hi, this is Zach Allen, and this is my part 1 to the final exam for trigonometry in math. And let's start it off with 1A. Define a reference angle and list which positive and negative degrees from negative 360 degrees to 360 degrees have a reference angle of 30. Now, I've written my unit circle here. It's not the prettiest thing, but it'll get us done. So what it's asking of us is to find the reference angle of this angle right here, 30. Now, 30 degrees can be defined by this line against this line, making an angle out of this 90 degrees chunk right here of the unit circle. Now, how I think of it is I think of it 4 quadrants of 90 degrees, and basically we're trying to find 30 degrees to that 90 degrees all around the circle. So when you come over here, you'd see that the 30 degrees would be going this way to be the same here. So if I were to flip the unit circle on itself, it'd be lined up with each other, and that would be 150 degrees. So that's one reference angle that has to do with 30 degrees. But the same thing can be said about 210 degrees right here. And it can also be said about 330 degrees right here, because they're all 30 degrees towards the 90 degrees lines that I've stated before. So what if we're doing like it says negative 360 degrees to 360 degrees? Like, what does that mean? Well, that would mean if I were to go, first of all, positive to 0 to 360 degrees, the reference angles would be 30, obviously, to 150 degrees, to 210 degrees, to 330 degrees. Those would be the 30's reference angles. And if we were going backwards, it'd be 330 to 210 to 150 to 30 again. So we can write it out as negative 330 degrees to negative 210 degrees to 150 degrees, sorry, negative in front, to 30 degrees negative. Then we go to 30 degrees positive to 150 degrees positive to 210 degrees positive to 330 degrees positive. Now on to the next question. Evaluate 7 pi over 6, and why is this value negative? Alright, so first of all we have to evaluate 7 pi over 6. I don't actually have a graphing calculator, but I do have Google. So we have sin 7 pi divided by 6, which equals negative 0.5. So why does that equal negative 0.5? So first of all, let's write it out. Sin of 7 pi divided by 6 equals 0.5 negative. And it equals 0.5 negative because if you look down here, think of it as a triangle that leads down to right there to get this whole triangle going. Now we already know that it's in the negative quadrant of quadrant 3 where everything's negative, so we already know we're going back negative and down negative. But which one's the 0.5? The 0.5 would be right here, 0.5 negative, because we're going down, which is negative. 0.5 to reach right here, which is around halfway to 1, which explains the 0.5. And we're going this way, which is cos, so that'd be around 0.866 negative. Going this way, and then 0.5 negative down. So that's why it's negative. Could put negative because of its location in quadrant, let's put quad 3 of the graph and moves down negative 0.5 degree, or negative 0.5, period. And finally, convert 420 degrees to radians. To do that, let's start by taking the 420 degrees, subtracting it by 360 degrees to give us 60 degrees. Now the reason I did this is because if you look over here, a full unit circle is 360 degrees, and that's equal to 2 pi. So if we take out that 360 degrees, all we have to do is find the 60 degrees, which is right here. So that means we've done one rotation, 360 plus the 60 gives us our 420 degrees, and that leaves us with pi over 3, which is equal to 1/3 pi. And if we were to add this 1/3 pi, aka 60 degrees, plus 360 degrees, which is 2 pi, so it's radians now, it's 2 pi, 2 and 1/3 pi as the radians for 420 degrees. Thank you so much, and I'll give you guys part 2 in the next video.